The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
And we're live. Saturday morning, back live again. Welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We're proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the co-hosts of the show, and to my right is a man who allegedly had Officer Carl Winslow at his freakout party. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing today?
Carl needed a lot of oil. All right. I'm doing all right. I woke up. I got my fuel for the Fearless, which we'll be getting to that later. Ooh, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to discuss some football. We got some intriguing things to talk about this week.
We do.
Not the least of which is an exciting food take, but I'll let you drive the bus to that one.
It might crash.
Yeah. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. You know, got through this week at work, and now I'm ready to talk some football. I'm ready to watch some football, and it's gonna be a good time today. We're gonna try to keep it on track because Dustin's got to get out of here at around 11:15. But we're gonna get it started. But before we get started, I just want to remind you about our social media channels: Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok @NoCredsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCredsREQ. Give us a like. And on the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on your preferred platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and also get notified on Twitter and on YouTube. You get notifications as to when we go live or when we post a new video. You'll get them. Hit the notification bell on either or both. Follow us on both channels and get notification on both. Also, on the podcast side, rate and review. A 5-star rating would be helpful. And if you're on Spotify, comment on the show. You can leave a comment for every episode now. It's a pretty cool feature. I highlighted it on our Twitter channel the other day. And also, if you're on a platform where you can review the podcast, leave us a review. We might even read it on the air. Same with the comments from Spotify. You might even read those on the air. And because we are a live show on Tuesdays at 8:05 Eastern, and we'll see what we do going forward on Saturdays at 10 o'clock Eastern time. We might have a little bit of surprises here and there, but engage the show, leave us a comment, and I'm going to play that magical sound to let people know to leave a comment. Dustin, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Let's go. All right, we are going to start this episode with a brand new hot food takes. And there it is.
Oh man, that looks like a good burger. I would dive into that one.
Remove some things and we'll talk.
It might be just a touch. You know, it looks like it's skewing more towards well cooked there. I like my burgers medium. You know
what? Let me play it again. Let me just see. Yeah, I mean, the grill mark in the front might give it away, but I think it might be a little bit medium wellish.
Yes,
and like you, Dustin, I like my burgers with a tinge of pink in the middle, you know, medium, because you gotta have a little bit of juiciness. It's gotta be 80-20.
Yeah,
80-20 burgers. None of this 90-10 crap, because 90-10 dries out.
You can't do that. Fat is flavor.
Fat is flavor. Yes.
You need it.
Should make that into a shirt.
Yeah. Oh man, we'll talk after the show.
We'll talk merch after the show.
No Creds REQ merch.
Yeah, we'll get on that. All right. So last week we had the discussion about candy, about which candy you would. I'm sorry. Popcorn or candy at the movies. If you had one thing to eat at the movies from now on, it's a snack on. What would it be, candy or would it be popcorn? If it's candy, what would your candy be? This week is going to be a breakfast showdown, a smackdown, if you
Ooh.
will. Shout out The Rock. So, if you were to have one breakfast item, hot breakfast item for the rest of your life, for breakfast every single day, or dinner, dinner's always a good
Oh
option,
yeah,
or
for
brunch,
sure. For sure.
whichever it's whichever you prefer. Would you rather have pancakes, waffles, or French toast? Dustin, hit me.
Oh. All right. Well, as with everything, I have strong opinions about this when it comes to food. But if you had asked me this question probably about 3 years ago, I would have said team pancake all day.
Mhm.
Pancake is a stalwart. They're relatively easy to make. They're versatile. You can make them out of different things. I've been on the banana pancake train for a couple of years now. But
Interesting. But
there is one key event that happened in my life that has shifted the momentum.
oh
I'm going waffle, and I'm going to tell you
oh
why. I recently found a recipe for homemade waffle
okay.
batter that I used, and it was very easy, and it came out pretty well. And I was like, you know what? That wasn't that hard.
Hmm.
So, and I've come to appreciate the versatility of the waffle iron as a tool. You can put a lot of stuff in a waffle iron. Have I seen crazy videos on Instagram? Yes. Have I tried any of those things? Not yet. But the one heating up leftover pizza with the waffle iron has me intrigued. But the one of the great things about the waffle is um, it's got those little pockets. It's got the little pockets where the syrup and the butter can kind of settle in, and you can top waffles with all sorts of things. You can do the same thing with pancake, but you can also put stuff in the batter. I could make chocolate chip waffles if I wanted to. I could make peanut butter chip waffles if I wanted to. I suppose I could try blueberry waffles and it'd be cooked in with the waffle iron. I should give that a shot. But I'm going surprising myself here. Team waffle, although all three of these options, I'm very excited. One of my favorite uses as a currently single person to use the surplus bread, because a single person cannot eat an entire loaf of bread. These things are meant for like family of four.
Challenge
I
accepted.
I will use it to make French toast. So all three of these things, I love them. But if I have to give the gold medal to one of them, it's waffles all day for me. And that's a relatively new development. I did not think I'd be here, but here we are. Ryan, what about you, sir?
This is a tough one for me. Very tough. So, growing up, as always, your mom always makes your mom always makes pancakes on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
It's gotta, although sometimes my mom would make, was it called the bird's nest or bird in the nest or bird in the hole, something like that. I can't remember. It was basically a piece of toast. The bread was cut out in the middle, and she put the egg in there.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called.
Yeah. I don't.
Bird's nest, but I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, so pancakes, you haven't grown up. Waffles took the breakfast game to a new level. Then there's French toast. Now, French toast you see in the buffets, it looks sad. It looks sad. It
Yeah.
just piece of white bread. You dip it in the batter with the cinnamon, the vanilla. It's pretty good. Then you put it on the griddle, but it always looks really sad. Uh, But here I discovered recently challah bread.
Ooh.
Make French toast with challah bread. Still great. It's great. But French toast, sorry to say, you didn't make the list. I should say that element right now, but I can't. You didn't make the list. So that leaves pancakes and waffles. And I hate to be chalk, I hate to be boring. But yeah, if I had to eat one thing on breakfast for breakfast the rest of my life, it's waffles. Waffles are as you mentioned, Dustin, they're versatile. They're versatile. Got the little pockets of goodness. Put the butter in there, you put the syrup in there.
hmm
Makes a great meal. I saw a food hack the other day with a waffle iron. Somebody made grilled cheese
Oh, that would be good.
in a waffle iron, and that way the soup stays in the pocket of the sandwich. Doesn't make it all wet. It just makes it look better. So you can't do things. Pancakes, you're great. Love me some. I mean, Dustin, we've been to Pocahontas Pancakes in Virginia Beach. Shout out Pocahontas Pancakes. We've gone there to meet on our trips to Outer Banks. They have phenomenal blueberry pancakes. FYI.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
I the last time I went there with my sister was with my sister in October 2019. We were scouting places for what was supposed to be my graduation at Regent University. We were supposed to have the weekend to party and to meet up for breakfast and hang out with relatives. Unfortunately, 2020 happened, and we all know what happened.
Yes.
But I had their blueberry pancakes, and they're pretty dang phenomenal. But you can't do much. There's no such thing as a pancake iron.
Yeah.
There are such things as a waffle iron. And one other thing you can do, put some cinnamon bun in there. Make yourself a nice cinnamon bun waffle.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. And let me ask you, we get passionate about food, you and I.
Oh, we do.
What's your thoughts on the Belgian waffle?
Love it.
I love it too, but
Belgian waffles.
for me, it's like a once in a while thing. Like I can't be coming out of the gate with a Belgian waffle every weekend. I would die.
No, well, I will give another shout out here to the Ripe Tomato in Ballston Spa. My nephew works there. My niece works there. All of my nieces currently at school in the Rochester area. It's Rochester to you noobs. But my nephew works there, and every once in a while they used to have a Sunday brunch. Every Sunday they have a Sunday brunch where they have an omelet station. They also had a waffle station.
Oh man.
And it is big Belgian waffles. They make them for you. Came out nice and crispy every single time. It was awesome. It was awesome. Unfortunately, they only do brunch during, I think, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and I want to say during the track season. That's it. They don't do brunch anymore because of Uncle Melvin stopping by and with his extended stay.
Yeah.
No more brunches there unless it's a special occasion. So
oh man, that stinks. No Easter one? No Easter?
No. I think they might have Easter.
Yeah.
I know the factory right down the road from my house, they have an Easter brunch. But yeah, for me, I guess I hate being chalk. I hate being boring. I know for the sake of debate, shout out my buddy Drew, to our buddy Drew Willingham. Yeah, for me, it's waffles. I love waffles. They're awesome. And yeah, you do the same thing. You put peanut butter in there, put in the batter, put chocolate chips in the batter. What I tend to do when I make waffles, my sister, when she's not feeling great, she's like, "Can we do waffles for dinner?" I'm like, "Fine."
Yeah.
So I make waffles, and what I'll do is I'll put the batter on first, then I'll put the chocolate chips on.
Oh yeah.
So that way they're not jamming up the batter.
Yep.
But
jamming up the works.
Jamming up the works. Well, you can also do bacon in waffles. I put on waffle batter, then I put a couple slices of bacon and make myself a bacon waffle.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. I'm coming out of here with some knowledge as usual. You're dropping some knowledge. I'm going to try some stuff. But also special shout out to my friends Chris and Jill. I'll be seeing them soon. They turned me on to the magic of Waffle House. I had never been to Waffle House. And is it like top tier food? No. But it is good. And they can do a lot of things. They can put a lot of things on your waffles. What Denny's does with pancakes, Waffle House does with waffles. So if you're out there and you haven't had Waffle House, try it out.
Yeah, I've visited Georgia a couple times. My buddy Sean, he lives down there. He's encouraged me to move down there.
Yeah.
And when I walk around Atlanta, I'd see Waffle House all the time. I'm going, why don't I go in? The 2 times I went, I should have gone in and had something. I never had it, but I'm looking now. Look at the menu, and they got some pretty nice waffles down here.
Yeah. There's some stuff going on. So shout out to those two. I know they're not watching because they're not sports fans, but maybe I'll tell them, You got to start tuning in Saturday mornings for the food take segments.
So I'm looking at their menu. They have country ham and they have city ham. City ham is hickory smoked ham. That's funny.
Oh man. So Sean's persuasion skills. You're not in Atlanta yet, and
Not
I am
clearly.
not. I get the push a lot of times when I go down to Virginia. I get a very strong push from the two of them to have me move down there. Is there a future where I'm streaming from Virginia and you're streaming from Atlanta? The world may never know.
Or I could be streaming from Virginia too. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You never know.
All right. That has been this week's edition of Hot Food Takes. Where is it? There it is. Flopping that burger down.
The first thing I'm removing is tomato, although I don't hate it on burger like I used to. I'll eat it now, but that's the first thing going.
For me, it's the pickles. All right.
I
don't know what it is with pickles. It's too briny. It's too salty. I don't get it.
Oh man, I love them. I'll pickle red onions right up. I'll pickle jalapenos, doing a quick pickle, getting it going.
Yeah, it's pickle and everything. All right, we're gonna move on to this week in college. NFL. We're gonna start off with a Thursday night review of Thursday night football. Cowboys at Giants. I didn't watch this game. Dustin, you did.
I watched the second half, but I do have to say, like, both teams couldn't get the running game going in this one. Daniel Jones, I thought at points looked good in this game because he actually had some time. Dallas wasn't getting much of a pass rush for large portions of this game. So maybe that Giants line is starting to come together. Al Michaels was talking about how half of the line, like the right side of the line, came from Vegas. Like they're all former Raiders, and also the Giants line coach is a former Raider. So he was like, maybe throughout the season, the line will become more cohesive. Who knows? But Daniel Jones, when he did have pockets of protection, he made some throws, but it wasn't enough. So I'll keep this quick. My breakdown of these teams is Malik Neighbors is an absolute beast. He did leave this game with a concussion, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But if he's not already, which I think he is, he will be the entire focal point of this offense by the end of the season. But Wan'Dale Robinson is going to have a role in this offense. It's clear Daniel Jones, for whatever reason, feels comfortable going to him. But the Giants just couldn't score when they got down near the red zone in this game. That's what killed them. Dallas was able to get a few touchdowns in. Singletary couldn't get going on the ground for the Giants in a game where I thought he would be able to. Dallas's rushing game is, I'm sorry, but their run game is as atrocious as we thought it was going to be. It's terrible. They can't run. Their entire offense is CeeDee Lamb. And sometimes they throw to Jake Ferguson, who's the tight end there. But their entire offense is CeeDee Lamb. They were giving him snaps at running back. Was it Brandon Ayuk a few years ago, or was it the other San Francisco receiver that they were doing?
Samuel.
Yes, it was Debo. It was Debo that they were doing that with a lot a couple of years ago. So maybe CeeDee Lamb is going to have a role like that. He was amazing in this game. Dak, he looked okay. But I think when your second, probably most valuable offensive player is your kicker, Brandon Aubrey hit another one from 60 yards in this one, you might have some problems. He did miss from 50-plus later. It's his first miss of the season from that distance. But, it looks like Dallas's offense is pretty much going to be CD and the kicker. So that's rough.
Yeah, that's your offense right there. That's a problem. That's a problem because that's what happens when you pay your best wide receiver, you overpay a quarterback who hasn't taken you past the divisional round of the playoffs, and like I said, coming soon, you have to try to pay your best edge rusher who got injured in this game. He had neck problems. He had neck problems coming into the game, and then he sprains his ankle. He's got a high ankle sprain. So Micah Parsons. He'll probably play in the next game But high ankle sprains can be an issue. High ankle sprains can be a big issue, and it impacts everything on the football field. How you pivot, how you explode off the ball. It's going to be a problem. In this game, I didn't watch the game at all. I had my first night of my small group for church this week. It's awesome. Shout out to those who are watching or listening. I didn't watch it, but from the looks of things, the Cowboys took the control of the ball, took control of the game early. They didn't really need to look back. From the looks of the statistics, neither team could run the ball. I believe the leading rusher for this game was the Cowboys. I can't remember his name. It was not Zeke Elliott, who is right now, his career is over.
Is it Rico Dowdle?
Rico Dowdle. He hit like 45 yards. Neither of these teams could establish a run. And when it turns into an exclusively a passing game, the game is boring. It's boring.
You got to be able to have that balance.
Yeah, and it made this game special and not in a good way. So I'm not in a good way. And then there's no turnovers in this game until Daniel Jones threw that ill-advised interception to close out the match. And it just kind of leaves me the question: why do we have these NFL games on Thursday night again? Why do we have them? Oh, I know why. Money. Money is why.
Yeah, and there is a thing. I used to say there's never a thing no such thing as too much football, but I think there is. Clearly the players are not ready for these games when they come around. They never, with very few exceptions over the years, they never look sharp. The Thanksgiving games, I'll make an exceptions for that. That's a tradition. You gotta hang on to
Thanksgiving,
that.
gotta have them, yeah.
And I will say, in the beginning of Thursday Night Football's inception, I liked it better when it was like it started the second half of the season. You didn't have Thursday Night Football all throughout the season. So at the very least, they should do that. But with the amount of it
was a treat.
Yeah, for sure. But with the amount of money that people have laid out, we're going to have Thursday Night Football till the end of time.
Sucks. It sucks. Fix this, NFL. Fix this, please. Please fix this. We'll get to a couple comments in the comment section. Our friend Kevin Wilson, friend of the show, Kevin Wilson from Belly Up Fantasy Sports, saying chip beef on toast sounds great this morning.
I'll give it a shot.
Isn't that called
beef on weck or something?
Isn't that called? No, beef on weck is like a roast beef sandwich. But
okay.
I think what you're thinking of is on a shingle.
Oh yeah, definitely. My grandma used to call it that. Yeah.
He also says the Cowboys have issues with Pittsburgh, Detroit, and 49ers coming up in the schedule. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh could, even with the Pittsburgh's anemic offense, their defense is going to give them troubles. Detroit is Detroit. We know who they are. And the 49ers. Wouldn't it be funny?
Oh, man.
Wouldn't it be funny if the 49ers lose against the Patriots on Sunday? It won't happen. It won't happen.
Yeah.
But if they do, and I saw a clip of Brandon Ayuk having a hissy fit in the huddle at practice the other day because he didn't abide by the 49ers dress code for practice. So get paid. If you get paid, they're paying a bunch of guys right now. There's problems in Frisco.
Yeah, there is.
If both these teams come into week 7 with identical records, I will laugh my head off. It will be awesome. And yes, there it is. On a shingle is what it's called. I am correct. I'm trying to keep it FCC friendly, guys. I want to try to sell this show.
Yeah. And Kevin, we have a big game this Monday. We will be playing Detroit. So
oh boy.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one. Get in the comments, let me know. I might just talk about it later in the show, but happy to hear what you think as a fellow very knowledgeable Seahawks fan.
All right, let's speaking of week 4 in the NFL. Let's continue to talk about it. Let's talk about week 4 in the NFL. We've already talked about Thursday night football. Let's talk about the rest of the week coming up on Sunday. We're going to start with the most intriguing matchup, according to the both of us. And I'm going to lead off with this one. My most intriguing matchup for this week is Minnesota at Green Bay. That's going to be a
pick.
Fun game. That's going to be a fun game if you like defense. Both teams are rolling coming into this game. Green Bay's on a 2-game winning streak. Minnesota, they're 3-0 right now. Arguably the most surprising team in the NFL this season in the first 3 weeks. But both teams are coming into this game rolling on defense. Packers had a really great game on week 2 against the Colts. They had an equally as good affair, if not better affair, last week. And Tennessee had a pick 6, couple turnovers. Of course, they played Will Levis, and Will Levis, we know who he is. There might be mention of him later in the show. But this is going to be an interesting matchup because I'll tell you why. The Vikings lead the league in sacks as a team. They lead the league in sacks. The Packers as a team, they lead the league in turnovers. And I'm kind of interested to see if Sam Darnold can keep this magical season rolling against one of the best secondaries in the NFL. And I'm just kind of curious to see how Brian Flores will contain Malik Willis, who is right now enjoying his time in Titletown after getting traded from the Titans. I think the Titans are starting to regret that decision.
Yeah, they might be. But are there murmurs that Jordan Love may start this game?
He is listed as questionable.
Okay. All right. So either way, I mean, that's going to be a tough test for the
yes.
If he does start, that opens up a lot more options. And if Malik starts, as you pointed out, he's been doing a lot of things.
Yeah. He's been doing things with more so with his feet than his arm, but he gives that Packers offense a new element, kind of an undetermined element. And if he continues rolling, I mean, obviously Jordan Love's probably going to return at least in the next week or two. I had to figure, but Matt LaFleur's doing good things with Malik Willis right now.
Yeah,
and if it's a shame that he can't keep this going, because if the Packers were to make the playoffs, I think it would definitely be arguably in the conversation for most improved player, along with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, for sure.
Comeback
player of the year. Yeah, I was thinking maybe that.
Oh, buddy.
But yeah, he's done well, and it's been a nice story, And he don't look now, but he has been the latest in he hasn't had as large of a sample size, but I know there were people that were already shoveling dirt on Malik Willis in his all too short time in the NFL.
Yes, very true.
And he's kind of reclaiming he's having a mini reclamation of his career. He's pulling a Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith from a couple of years ago. I mean, this is a pattern now with some QBs in this league, and I'm happy to see it.
As you can see, if you're watching, Tag Along has joined the conversation. He's feeling left out. But that's okay. I mean, my sister's not here. She's on her way to Suffern, so
okay.
Which is where I'll be in next month. So we might have a pre-recorded edition of the Saturday morning brunch sometime next month. Yeah. So that's my most intriguing matchup. Dustin, what's the most intriguing matchup for you? He's watching the screen.
For me, and I mean, that was a great pick. I thought about picking it because it's also Aaron Jones' return to Green Bay. So that'll be a good little subplot going on in that game. But the most intriguing matchup for me is, I'm on this train now, the Commanders versus the Cardinals.
Oh,
and the reason that I'm picking this, shout out to D Willie. I don't know any Cardinals fans, but they're out there. And also my Uncle Bill, my very own Uncle Bill, he's a Commanders fan.
He's a commies fanatic.
He's been through all of it. Funny little side point. My mom always used to think that Uncle Bill was a fan of the Buffalo Bills. And I'm like, no, Mom, He likes the, at the time, Redskins. He likes the Commanders' mom. Like, do you just think that he's a Bills fan because his name is Bill? And she's like, probably.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
she said it. But anyway, I like watching the Commanders.
Yeah.
I'm liking the way that this team, and I think that the matchup with Arizona is intriguing because offensively, the Commanders have issues on defense. I thought they would be better than they've been so far to start the season. But they have issues on defense. But both of them have, okay, you look at them offensively, they have a running game that they can run the ball. Brian Robinson / Austin Eckler have done enough at running the ball to get a good running game in there. James Conner, we've extolled the virtues of James Conner on this show. I think he's underrated. He just comes in and does what he does. So both of them have good enough running games. Both of them have a receiving threat that can take the top off the defense. Washington has Terry McLaurin. And of course, we know the Cardinals have Marvin Harrison Jr. And then you look at the quarterbacks; they're kind of mirror images of each other to start their careers. Kyler, extremely athletic and can move and make plays with his feet, and also has an arm. Jaden Daniels, hello, he's a little taller, but he can do many of the same things. And also, Jaden Daniels, I think he is ascending to star status in this league. I know it's a lot to put on a young quarterback early in his career, but he looks like he is adjusting to the game pretty well, and he is more than athletic enough to make dynamic plays with his feet, a la Lamar Jackson and also Kyler Murray. I think this game, I'm interested to see how the Commanders perform against the Arizona Cardinals defense, which I think is better than people realize. And this one could be a shootout, though. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun. I think it'll be a fun game. And I watched a little bit of the Commanders report, Gridiron report yesterday. He taught you mostly about the review of Monday night's game. He says, yeah, he was agreeing. You're basically in agreement with him and saying, yeah, the defense needs a little work. The secondary got cooked a little bit. Granted, it was Joe Burrow, but now they've got a dual threat at quarterback with Kyler Murray. He can use both his arms and his arm and his legs to create plays. We know what Kyler Murray can do. We've seen the potentially explosive plays that he's had, or explosive plays period that he's had this season. So yeah, this is gonna be a tough matchup for the Commanders, but I think and it could be very well be a shootout. I believe they're playing in Phoenix or Glendale. Is that right?
I believe so.
Real time research.
Yeah,
Let's double check and make sure.
Yeah, we don't want to be wrong here. Oh.
No, we don't.
I have too many Peter Brady's on the brunch shows. I don't know what happens. I think it's because I've woken up mere hours ago.
It is in Arizona, yes.
Okay, yep. Down in the heat.
Down in the desert. All right,
they're domed though, aren't they? Though,
Glendale? Yes, it's a retractable roof.
Yeah.
No, it's a dome stadium. It's a dome stadium.
Oh, okay.
No, you're right. All right, we're gonna move along to Desperation City / Bounce Back City, and Dustin, I'm gonna have you lead off. Which matchup do you believe could have the potential for one team to have a bounce back game?
Well, for me, there's one team that needs to have a bounce back game more than anybody right now, and it's the San Francisco 49ers. Clearly, as you talked about earlier in the show, there's trouble in San Francisco right now. And as a person who begrudgingly picked them to go to the Super Bowl, they don't look like it right now. They were upset by the Vikings. Partially because of the massive improvement of the Vikings defense under Brian Flores, which we talked about last week. But San Francisco needs to get it together. They need to get it together. They lost to an undermanned Rams team last week, which credit to Matthew Stafford. The man's a veteran. He knows how to get the job done. Credit to Sean McVay, probably one of the best coaches in the NFL. He's kind of like the way that you talk about Todd Bowles and scheming on the defense. I think Sean McVay is kind of like the offensive equivalent of that. Pretty much you give him some bodies and he's going to come up with an offensive game plan that'll at least keep them close.
Yeah.
He is this term is thrown around a lot. So, well, I'll auto correct. He is a maven when it comes to offensive football. He knows the deal. So credit to him, but the 49ers should have won that game. And the fact that they didn't is it puts them in a spot. And the Patriots defense, they've regressed over the last couple of weeks here. But if they can put together a game plan like they were able to pull off in week 1, they could surprise the Niners. The way it just seems like the Niners, they're not hitting on all cylinders. And I think part of it is they missed Christian McCaffrey. Kittle, I think, was injured last game. If I'm trying to remember, I think he was carted off, but I'm not 100% sure. So I don't know what his status is for this game. So Jawan Jennings is going to have to come out and have a great game. I hope he does, because I picked him up in one of the fantasy leagues I'm in. I have to start him this week. I've got injuries at receiver. So in he goes. But man, the 49ers need a victory a lot this week. So they're my pick. They need a bounce back win.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the injury report. They've got a bunch of guys who are questionable this week. Trent Williams is questionable.
Oh, that's big.
Deebo Samuel is questionable again. He missed last week's game. He's questionable for this game. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, he's on injury reserve. He's flying over to Germany to get treatment. But I guess Kyle Shanahan said that he's going to start hitting the rehab harder this week. So, I mean, if the Patriots play the 49ers like they did against the Bengals in week 1, that could be a very intriguing matchup. So, I dare I say it could be an upset. We could see this game could be part of the upset of the week on Tuesday's edition. We don't know. But and kind of a little plug here for our man Snowman, friend of the show, Snowman Brian Snow. He's doing a double header of alternative play-by-play on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Which will include Steelers at Colts and Patriots at 49ers.
Steelers at Colts. I mean, Snowman, I think I know why you picked that game, but
I know why you picked it.
You might have to do yourself more of a favor, because that game could be rough to watch depending on which version of Anthony Richardson shows up.
Yeah, it could be cheeks, as the kids say.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to move quickly with Bounce Back City. My Bounce Back City matchup is New Orleans at Atlanta. It's a big game for both teams. It's a pivotal interdivision matchup. They're both coming off lossless. Saints offense looked punchless last week after scoring 40-plus points the first 2 weeks of the season. Held to 12 points and 219 total yards. The Falcons look to be on their way to a big upset, a monumental upset on Sunday night, but they scored 3 points in the second half, and the Chiefs were held them pretty much almost pointless in the second half. I mean, part of it is thanks to the referees. I mean, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
But those zebras.
But their offense, Atlanta's offense, has to get going at some point. You bring in Kirk Cousins, you have all these weapons that you've drafted, all these weapons. Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. You've got to put them to good use eventually. You have to. You bring in all these guys to score what? 14, 15 points a game? You top 22 and you top 20. You got in the 20s on Monday night a few weeks ago against the Eagles. You could score more. They're capable of scoring more points. And if they fall behind early against the Saints offense that's capable of scoring multiple touchdowns in a hurry, it's going to be a long season in Atlanta.
They didn't start off the way that I thought they would.
Mhm.
I thought these acquisitions, and to Raheem Morris's credit, he has used the offensive weapons more. He's not Arthur Smithing us out there, but Bijan, Drake, some of the Kirk Cousins, they haven't gotten off to the start that some of us anticipated. I'll say it. I picked them to win the division, and I don't know about that anymore.
Mhm. I mean, will say the defense. You know who they remind me of?
Who's that?
Last year's Jets. The
Oh, okay.
defense holds the end of the bargain, but
Yep.
the offense is just they can't do anything.
Yeah.
Can't do anything. They remind me of them. Shout out to Stacy Morgan of Morgan Man Sports. He covers the Falcons for Belly Up Sports. Is it a fair comparison? Stacy, if you're listening or watching, is it a fair comparison? Let me know. Let me know. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll cover the rest of week 4 in the NFL, including the self-hatred game of the week and players to watch on offense and defense. Stay tuned for No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air-roasted, 100% money-back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. Well, sadly for me, I chose convenience over making coffee this morning, but that's okay. That's okay. Dustin held up his end. He's got himself the cold brew this morning. He got himself some fuel for the fears. How do you like the cold brew?
I like it. I like it. If I'm honest, this is a taste thing for me. I probably prefer the traditional, I like the hot coffee,
Mhm.
but this is a nice alternative. And I'm enjoying it. And they tell you shake vigorously before opening, and I did it, and delicious. I'm enjoying it. It's the Invader taste you know and love. And I too was in a rush this morning. I was like, I don't have time to make coffee, but I know what I do have. The cold brew, cracked it open, and now I've got my Invader fix and I'm ready to go. So I would say give the cold brew a try. I enjoy it very much. And right now, as far as I know, it is the original blend, the Invader coffee. I don't know if there's any plans to have any of the other varieties in cold brew form, but Invader, if you're listening, that might be something to look at, because I would try all the other blends in cold brew form.
Yes, absolutely. They've been a longtime sponsor of the show, affiliate sponsor of the show. Use the link in the description. That helps out every order when you use our affiliate link. Every order helps our show. Helps our show. We get a little bit back. I'm not gonna lie, get a little bit back for the show. They got they got a lot of blends that are selling out right now. But Dustin, guess what they have in
Oh, is
stock?
it the pumpkin pecan?
The pumpkin pecan.
Oh, I'm
It's
getting that.
big. It's
I'm
big.
getting it. It's big.
Big. You better use the affiliate link.
Oh, I will.
Not only the affiliate link you can use to support the show, but you can also use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. You get 15% off your order. It gets to your house in a matter of days, not weeks. And it's freshly brewed. It's air roasted, so you get none of that acidity. You don't have to put puts in your coffee like milk or like half and half, cream, sugar. You don't have to put all that stuff in there. It tastes like coffee. It tastes like actual coffee. Unlike other brands, and I'll try to use an example here. Carbucks, like them, or Fleeing Fountain, those guys, or
Bulgers.
or Taxwell Mouse. There we go.
Taxwell.
Hey, Kyle Bulger, man, shout out to him.
Yeah.
But go to Invader Coffee. Use the link in the description, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, or the podcast description. Help the show. Get yourself some coffee. And again, veteran owned. Veteran owned. Do you love your country? Do you love veterans? Of course you do. It's a veteran owned coffee company. based out of Austin, Texas. Go get some Invader coffee today. Get some of the cold brew. Get some of the pumpkin pecan. Ooh, they have a rum coffee blend. I'm gonna have to try that. Okay,
That could be interesting. I'll give
could be
that a
very
shot.
interesting. That's for sure. That's all right. All right, but Invader coffee. Let's get back to everything. But before that, let's go to the comments section real quick. Kevin saying, "Seahawks, we were ready Sunday, just like they've been the last 2 years. Take the points and the over." Ooh,
Yeah, I agree with you there, Kevin. We're gonna I'm gonna get to that game a little later in the show, but ooh man, the points have been crazy the last couple of years.
yeah, for sure. They've had to more than outdo their and to score a lot of points over the last couple of years. That's for sure. Friend of the show is Sig Diggy, all the way from Norway. This man doesn't sleep. He says,
I
"Good
know.
morning, good afternoon, good evening."
I know.
and
I
good
see
night."
him in the Discord making comments. I responded to one of them in there, and I've seen some of his others. I got to go check those out. But I'm like, what time is it over there?
I believe it's. I think they're 6 hours behind, so I want to say it's around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He also says a rum coffee. What would be the alcohol percentage? And I'm looking at the description right now for the rum coffee. There's no alcohol. It says no worry about the clap. It says don't worry about the calories. No sugar or alcohol here. But there are rules that say you can't add either if you want to.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So no alcohol. It says a light to medium roast with a Jamaican buttery rum flavor. Notes of
Ooh.
caramel and butter. But it only comes in ground. But it only comes in ground. It doesn't come in whole bean.
Oh man. Oh, okay. All right. All right. A small concession I will have to make because I know
Same.
you and I are both snobs, Ryan. We like our
Yes.
whole bean.
We do like
To
our
use
whole
the
bean.
false press.
He also says my feet pattern is pretty erratic at times. I gotta say, to Sick Diggy, thank you for tuning into
Yeah.
Talk Football Talk Extra yesterday with Moody and Drew Rullingham. He has some bangers of commercial reads that I did. I broke out my radio voice for them for a couple.
Oh, there we go.
So you have to
There
go
we go.
and listen to my radio voice. He also said it's 4:48 Central European time at the moment. So I was close. I was close. A little bit over.
Yeah.
I was close. All right, let's move on. Let's get a move on. Gotta get here quickly. Got half an hour, we're around half an hour left. So let's talk about the self-hatred game of the week. I'll lead off with this one. I picked the Browns at the Raiders. You need a sound effect for that element. Or like torture or something like that. Yeah, I'd rather get shivved in the kidneys than watch the Browns play the Raiders this week. Because on paper, this is an atrocious matchup between two teams that laid the ostrich-sized eggs last week. All right, the Raiders. You lost to the Panthers last week, and the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, and the Browns were roughed up. They were absolutely roughed up by the Giants last week. Their offensive line looked atrocious. And some of their offensive linemen are out this week. Jack Conklin, Jedrick Wills, they're out this week. David Njoku, he's out. On the other side of the ball, Devontae Adams, he's out.
Yeah.
Max Crosby, he'll be out. So this is going to be an instant classic in that it'll instantly put you to sleep. And praise the Lord, praise the good Lord above for Red Zone.
Oh,
Dustin, which game is your self-hatred game of the week?
My self-hatred game of the week. And when we were putting together the rundown for this show, I actually put puke in parentheses.
Saw that.
I gotta pick. Do people on Monday night hate us because we have
Yes.
what I think could be one of the best games? I'm hoping it's my most entertaining game. If we fast forward to Tuesday, I'm hoping that's what it is the Seahawks Lions. That's the good of the Monday night doubleheader. Look at the other side of the Monday night doubleheader, and that's where you'll find my self-hatred game of the week. We've seen what this Dolphins offense looks like without Tua in there. Although there's talk that it could be Tyler Huntley under center and not Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle. So if it is Huntley, the Dolphins could look a little better. So I guess I'm holding out hope for that. But if it is Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle or whatever, the Dolphins aren't going to look good. Spoilers. And they also, their defense has been underperforming, as we detailed last week. We thought this Dolphins defensive unit would be better than they are. The Dolphins look bad right now. And then on the other side, you have the Mayo Man himself, Will Levis. He has had to put it out politely. He has had a rocky start to the season with his decision making, and the Titans just don't have much on offense right now. And their defense has been better than expected. But as I understand it, the Titans have some defensive injuries. So this game could just be just a horrible game. I wish I didn't have to watch it. I'll be at bowling while this game starts, so I'll probably miss most of it, thankfully.
Yeah, I'll be recording Victory Monday with Dan.
So
I'm pretty sure it's disappointing. I'm drinking Dunkin' Donuts this morning, but
yeah,
that's a you problem, pal.
That is my self-hatred game of the week.
All right, let's move on to players to watch on the offensive side of the ball. Dustin, I'll have you lead off with this one. Who are you watching this week on offense?
On the offensive side of the ball, I am watching Jaden Daniels. I mentioned him earlier in the show, but I'll be very excited to see, can he replicate last week's success where everybody was kind of like, oh, Jaden Daniels has arrived. Let me see how he does against a defense that I think is a good defense, a defense that will be prepared for him, and a defense that has some speed a little bit. I don't think they'll be able to. How well will they be able to contain him when he goes to leave the pocket to make plays with his feet? And we've seen Jaden's arm. He can bomb it out there to Terry McLaurin. So I'll just be keeping a close eye on Jaden Daniels this week to see how he performs. And with that, I cede it to you. What is your pick, sir?
Homer alert. We have a Homer alert on aisle 5, or in this case, aisle 74. I am going with somebody who is you don't expect. And I give some love to my O-line brethren in Olu Fashanu. The Jets' first round pick of this season. He'll make his first NFL start this Sunday against Morgan Moses, who is out with an injury. He got rolled up on Thursday night in their win against the Patriots. He's out for the next 2 to 4 weeks with a sprained MCL and a bone bruise. Thankfully, it's all he had. I thought it would be worse. I was praying against the ACL injury, but the football gods for once smile upon the New York Jets, and they got some positive news. Okay. So Morgan Moses is only out for the next 2 to 4 weeks. Wasn't placed on IR, so he'll be ready. Hopefully he'll be back for the Monday night game against Buffalo, but he won't be available for this week. But again, Olu Fashanu, who's drafted to play left tackle, drafted as a left tackle. They brought in Tyron Smith, but he's going to play left side of the ball. But Olu Fashanu, he'll play right tackle. He played right tackle for most of the preseason. Did pretty well. It's going to take some time to adjust. But his first assignment this week will be against former New York Jet John Franklin Myers, who was traded from the Jets to the Broncos in April as part of a salary cap slashing move for the Jets. So this is going to be interesting for me. It's an interesting matchup because, again, it's first round pick. He's the future at left tackle, right? But right now he's going to play a right tackle, and I just want to see what he does. I want to see what he does against on the run. I want to see what he does in pass protection. He did fairly well on Thursday when he was filling in for Moses when he went out in the third quarter. But I want to see what he does in his first NFL start. And Aaron Rodgers has said a lot of really good things about him, comparing him to one of the legends of the Jets in DeBrickashaw Ferguson. He made that comparison this week, and that's a huge compliment. That's a huge compliment. So I'm looking to see what Luke Fasciano does on Sunday afternoon. Now we move on to the players we are going to watch on defense.
Can't have him locked up. He's important to the defense.
I love it every time. I look forward to it. I look forward to it.
And I'm going to lead up with this one and go with another homer alert. Another homer alert. This time on L 44. It's Jimmy and Sherwood, linebacker for the New York Jets. He's going to probably make his second consecutive start against the Denver Broncos. CJ Mosley still listed as doubtful on the injury report this week. And I'm going to say this, admittedly, when we talked about this on Victory Monday, the Jets defense, they've played a lot better with Sherwood in the lineup after Mosley went down with an injury. The first 6 quarters of this season, it looked bad. It looked pretty bad for the Jets defense. But the last 6 quarters of the Jets, it's been night and day with Sherwood in the lineup in place of CJ Mosley. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does in his second consecutive week against an offense like the Broncos. And they're playing Bo Nix. And we don't know which Bo Nix is going to show up. Will it be the Bo Nix of 2 weeks ago against the Pittsburgh Steelers? Or will it be last week's Bo Nix that surprisingly had a pretty surprising upset win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I'm praying against a massive letdown personally as a Jets fan, praying against a massive letdown after a very euphoric win last Thursday night against the Patriots. That's my player to watch on defense. Who is yours, Dustin?
For my player to watch on defense, cue up the homer alert, because
homer alert.
we are filling the show with homer alerts. But to me, it couldn't be any other. It couldn't be any other matchup. I will be watching both the Seahawks cornerbacks, Reek Woolen and Witherspoon. I want to see how they do against these Lions receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously we know what he can do. Jameson Williams is starting to come into his own and I think finally be the player that the Detroit Lions thought they were getting when they drafted him out of Alabama, I believe. So this is going to be a very intriguing matchup because we've seen Reek Woolen is very good cover corner. He's had some amazing picks. And Witherspoon, we saw glimpses of why the Seahawks took him so high when they drafted him. So to me, that's going to be one of the more intriguing matchups of the game is, can the Seahawks corners do their best to shut down the Lions receiving weapons? So that's what I'll be watching during this Monday night game. And my heart is not ready for this. Reggie Fils-Aimé, you video game nerds out there will know that Reggie Fils-Aimé, I think it was before 2006 E3, he came out to talk about what Nintendo of America was bringing. And he said, "My body is ready." And that's all he said. It's an infamous quote. We love Reggie, but my heart is not ready for this. If the Seahawks versus the Lions lives up to what they've done for the past 2 years, this is going to be, you may have to do a wellness check after this game on me because my blood pressure, I don't know. It's not going to be good. But this matchup, hey, NFL, if you're listening, have it every year because it's been great so far. It's been great so far. You had the DK being carted off the field and you're like, oh, is he injured? No, he just had to poop. That was the first year.
He had himself too much Invader coffee.
Yeah. But both of these games were offensive shootouts because neither team could stop the run either. Their run defense was atrocious on both sides of the ball. But for defensively, I want to see what Reek Woolen and Devin Witherspoon can do to shut down Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And watch. McDonald's got some other plans. He won't even put those two players. There'll be somebody else covering them. I'll be like, well, you just torpedoed my defensive players of the week, McDonald.
All right. Before we get out of here, I got a couple of comments, but I noticed in your signature on your signature right here, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, something about Extra Life is approaching. So you know what? We got a minute or two. Why don't you tell the folks at home about Extra Life? You're going to do another fundraiser again for Children's Hospital in Albany at Albany Med.
Yes.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
So, for those of you who have been tuning in for a little while in my tenure on the show, this is something I started before my tenure on the show. This was the inspiration for this. I had heard about this event, but when I lost my mother to cancer in 2018, I wanted to do something. I knew obviously you can't change what happened, right? But you can try to help prevent this from happening in the future. And Extra Life specifically deals with childhood sickness, sickness of all kinds. They want to, their hashtag is Change Kids Health, and they have what's called the Children's Network of hospitals. And Albany, the Bernard and Millie Duker Children's Hospital at Albany Med is the local Extra Life affiliated hospital. I will be raising money to go towards supporting sick children at the Bernard and Millie Duker Children's Hospital at Albany Med. I will be doing so on game day. The official Extra Life game day is November 2nd. So you're going to hear me talk about it leading up to game day. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot. I've started a Facebook fundraiser. If you are friends with me and are able to, I would appreciate a donation. I have a goal. The goal is listed there. I will be posting updates. And then if you want to tune into my Twitch channel on November 2nd, I will be attempting to game for 24 straight hours. My friend Chris from Virginia is going to be joining me remotely for large chunks of it. And we're trying to come up with an official game list right now. I'll probably talk about that as the event gets closer. Usually a few people swing through for at the house here. If they are local for a few times. Ryan's come through a couple of times, supported me, which I always appreciate. His support has been monumental throughout this process. And like I said, I'll be tweeting about it. I'll be putting messages on Instagram about it as soon as I figure out how to sync all three of them. And I'll also, my Facebook fundraiser, I direct you there. And if you want to go to extra-life.org. That is the website. If you search for me, El Dusto 67, that will also take you to the fundraising page. So if you are able, I realize times are tough right now, but would appreciate a donation. And also, if you can't donate, spread the word and tune in on November 2nd. Because even you sick, even on Norway time, you'll see me at some point because I'm trying to be up for 24 hours.
Yep. So there's I just made a banner right there below. extra-life.org. Search for El Dusto
67.
El Dusto. Sorry. Let me correct that. El Dusto 67. A correction on the fly here. There you go. Search for El Dusto 67. And you can donate to the cause. He's going to be playing video games for 24 hours. I'm hoping to be there for a few of them myself. Maybe you might see me play some video games, albeit poorly.
You played last year. I think you played. I forget what we were playing. We were playing some Warner Brothers. The name is escaping me, but it was a fighting game. You played for a little bit. I think.
Well, we also played the party game. I can't remember what it's called. With the little people bopping around trying to get.
Fall Guys. Yeah,
Fall Guys. Yes.
Fall Guys will be on the list.
Okay.
That's a fun game to get multiple people involved. So yeah, and I'm thinking maybe I order pizzas this year, get some food going.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Dustin is going to be playing again, and we're going to keep this ball rolling up until game day on November 2nd. So we're probably going to mention it for the month of October. Let's do this. Let's do this for the month of October. We're going to keep it rolling. Have Dustin talk about it at the we'll have him talk about it at the beginning of each show, just to give a reminder for donations. It's going to a really good cause. It's going to the Children's Hospital at Albany Medical Center. They do a lot of great things for kids, including NICU, cancer treatments, any kind of children's conditions that they can help out with. They do good things. They do good things. So extralife.org, search for El Dosto 67. That link should be up soon, I hope. Okay. So we'll have him promote throughout October. Hopefully we can get him to his goal. So and it's tax deductible, I suspect. So you can take it off it's tax deductible donation. So it'll go right to the hospital, and you can write off your taxes in 2025. All right, let's get to the comments before we get out of here. Sick Diggy saying Raiders versus Browns sounds a lot like the battle of the dumpster pelicans. Yeah, it'll be feral dumpster pelicans. He also wants to remind you that you make sure you bring your own bowling shoes.
Always do, Sick. Always do.
Yep. Knew it. I knew it.
I'm a league bowler, man.
He's a league bowler. Kevin says for players to watch, check out his start sit article on the Belly Up Fantasy website. Yes, shameless plug.
I'm definitely going to do that, Kevin, because I got some decisions to make with lineups. The injuries are tough.
And Sick Diggy will close up the show with a question: was it Injustice 2 or Mortal Kombat XL/11?
It was not, Sick. It was there's a game that came out I think last year maybe, and it was free to play, and it was a weird fighter because it had like all these random WB properties in it, like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo and Taz from Looney Tunes, and like Arya Stark and Gandalf. The name is escaping me right now. Yes, that's right. Multiverses. Yeah, we were playing that.
Yeah, I think we played that with your nephew and your niece.
Yes. Yes. Addison and Nicholas were here for that portion. Yeah.
Yep. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. Before we do that, we just want to remind you about our social media channels: facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, Twitter, Instagram, and the scarcely used TikTok, NoCreds @NoCredsREQ, youtube.com/@NoCredsREQ. Leave us a like, and on the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on your preferred platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora. Also, get notified on both Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when live shows or videos go up on either site. And rate and review. Also, leave a comment on Spotify. Leave a comment for the episode. Rate and review. 5-star rating would be awesome. If you're on a platform where you can review the show, they help us out. Ratings and reviews help the show, help us out with the algorithm, let other people know. And again, tell a friend. Tell a friend about this program. Tell a friend about this podcast, saying, hey, I got a great podcast for you. If you love sports, no credentials required. And also engage with the show. We're live, but also if you're watching on replay, you can leave us a comment. In fact, it was Kevin Wilson's comment from, I believe, August, one of our August shows about food that got us rolling the hot food takes. So he was the I'll give him credit. He's the inspiration for our hot food takes segment. So engage with the show. Leave us a comment either on any of our podcasts, any of our platforms, whether YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. We're gonna get out of here. So thank you for listening or watching. No credentials required. You don't need to press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll be back on Tuesday at 8:05 Eastern. Talk about the week in review for Week 4 of the NFL. Until then, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning indeed.